What is going on, everybody? It is Big L here, and today is the next in our series of WPF coach interviews. And as you can see on the screen, I am joined today by the coach of the Minnesota Lycanrocs, Coach Lucky and Bad.
Hey, what's up?
So, have you been watching, first of all?
Yes, I've seen all of them at some point in time.
Cool. Actually, it seems like people really like this. So, like, I knew this is either going to be one of those things that, like, people were either really going to like or it was going to be absolutely horrible. So, I'm glad.
No, I've enjoyed them.
Cool, and it's been a lot of fun. So, how you went to the Bucks game today? Had a good time.
Yep.
So, we'll get right into it here. And first question. And it's the same first question. What was your first Pokemon game? What was your last Pokemon game? And what is your favorite Pokemon game? And again, doesn't have to be main series. It can be like Mystery Dungeon, Snap, or ROM hacks. So
I think my first Pokemon game I played, I got into it like a little bit later. Like a few people I've heard were like, yeah, I started when I was really young and stuff. But I think my first one was in like 4th or 5th grade. My friend let me borrow his Fire Red version. So I started off kind of with the the whole Red and Blue, but the remake version. So my order was weird. Like I played that one first, and then went to Crystal, and then went to Diamond and Pearl eventually.
you just said Heck Gen 3.
What? Yeah, Emerald was later. I played it eventually, but my order was very odd. But the last game I played was Sword and Shield. I picked it up on the plane a couple days ago. Finally started going through some of Crown Tundra, so caught myself the Spectrier, and I have to try to figure out the Reggie puzzle, but did that so far. And my favorite Pokemon game is Diamond, because that was the first one where I kind of like, I got it on my own, not like from a friend, and I actually knew what I was doing, sort of. Right. I remember my Fire Red, I picked Blastoise as my starter into Blastoise, and my Blastoise had like Hydro Pump, Hydro Cannon, Water Pulse, and Bite as its move pool. And I was like, the Pokemon has to have the moves that are the same type as it. And
has to have stab.
Yes, and Diamond and Pearl was when eventually I kind of started figuring out that, coverage is a good idea. And like, I didn't know about IEVs then, but I started a little bit into breeding and trying to get EVs. So that was kind of my start into actually knowing what I'm doing.
All right, nothing wrong with that. I think I'm honestly more surprised that more people haven't said Gen 4 as their favorites. Honestly, like a lot of people love Gen 4, and like I think you got to start like you could technically say you started with Gen 1, I guess.
Yeah, technically.
So moving on, we've got, how did you get into Draft League?
So I was in college, I think it was my sophomore year, and somewhere in there, one of my friends, I don't know how they figured out that I had played Pokemon before at some point, but they're like, hey, we're trying to do this Draft League thing. You want to try it out? And I'd played fantasy football a lot, so I was like, yeah, that sounds kind of interesting. And so I did it, and God, that was the worst draft I'd ever done. I think I had like three electric types on it, which wasn't even like, they were ones that like I had Thundy, T, and Jolteon on the same team, which they basically do the same thing. Just Jolteon's worse. So it was really bad, but that didn't last super long. So then I was like, this is kind of fun. So then I went into Reddit and found the UPL, and I think I found a post that said they were looking for replacement coaches. I think this was season 3. And so I came in, I was like, oh yeah, you guys still have it? And they're like, either it was filled or it was like late in the season. So they were like, yeah, wait till next season. And then I applied in the next season and got into season 4, and then I've been there ever since. And then Shane and Panda and T4U eventually, after prodding me a bit, got me to come over to WPF as well.
When was your first season in WPF? I can't remember.
It was it was the first one for Sword and Shield. I don't know what the number. I think it was 4.
Season 5.
We're in,
season 5.
Yeah.
I think it was season 5.
Yeah, that was my first one.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay. Next one is, how long have you been playing competitively?
So I started a little bit in Gen 5, which probably explains my love for weather. And especially, like, I remember I was like, well, this rain thing, like, you can't have swift swimmers in OU with Pelipper. This seems overpowered. I'm gonna try to bring it down to UU. So I played with like a manual rain UU team a lot in Gen 5. And then I took a big break, and then next got back into it again sometime in college when my friends decided to have me do the league thing, and I played on ladder a bit, but not a lot. And now it's basically almost all exclusively draft league. Although back one of the years, the first year of Sword and Shield, I had considered going up to Madison with some friends and doing that VGC tournament, but
was there
that
one
never
in Madison
came to.
year?
Yeah, we were gonna do it, but I think I had something else going on that week, so was not able to do that. And then haven't gotten to back into VGC since. So
yeah, I know. I met Shane down at Collinsville, and I barely touched VGC since then. Like, but like I maybe I don't remember seeing Madison that year, because that was right out. It was the spring after
Sword and Shield. It was Sun and Moon. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I loved the VGC meta in Sun and Moon. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
I played the crap out of it on Showdown because, like, I had no idea how to build competitively back then in game. And so, like, I saw, like, Pokegame and stuff playing online, and I was just like, what is this website? This is amazing. And then, like, I got on there, and I was like, holy crap. Like, I can build perfect Pokemon. I don't have to do anything. This is awesome. So.
Yeah, my VGC team was, like, it was similar. Like, it had a Tapu Koko and a Garchomp, of course.
Yeah, every team, I think, had a Tapu and Garchomp. Like, in Sun and Moon. I'm pretty sure.
And
the beginning of Sun and Moon. Yeah, I remember Arcanine was all over the place back then, too. So, next is, what is your favorite low tier, and by low tier, I mean 4 or 5, Pokemon to use in draft?
So, I don't know if this one quite counts, because sometimes it's been pushed up to tier 3 now. But it was always Lycanroc, just because it's fun and offers a lot to a team, I find. But I liked Day more, because it is because it is lower tier and it's a little bit faster. So I felt for the value, it's good.
I think Midday's tier 4.
Yeah, but since it's borderline, the other IS2 I really like is Kecleon, which I know T4U also likes it and has been mentioned here. It's pretty popular low tier 1. And then I really like Articuno too. Those are the two main.
Articuno's thick.
Really low tiers. Yeah. So
heavy duty boots helped Articuno a lot.
Yeah.
But it gets Roost, right? Or Recover. Or both.
Roost.
Okay. It's Galarian Articuno that gets Recover.
Yep.
Right. And then you kind of touched on this one a little bit earlier. But so it's kind of a meme in chat about you drafting Rain. So what is it about Rain, or just weather in general, that makes you just love using it in draft so much?
The main thing I like about rain specifically and over any other weather is because it offers you so many options that um and has you easily kind of have a plan in what fits. Like you're like, okay, I know I'm gonna be getting my rain sweeper. I know I'm gonna be getting obviously the rain setter. There's a couple other things that fit well, like a sizzle or ferrothorn. So it's
Yeah.
just you start putting things together that you have less kind of holes to fill. And especially with Wayne, what I really like is you can use it both offensively and defensively. Um, like I think, especially now, I think Rain is probably maybe third on the list of like powerful sweepers because Sand has Excadrill and Sun with Venusaur's gotten pretty big
Mm-hmm.
now. But like there's like
Yeah, especially in
Kingdra and
VGC.
Barraskewda are still good, and
Yeah,
Mega
absolutely.
Swampert's really good too. They're still good, but the thing that Rain offers that none of the rest of them do is that defensive utility. Like you can 4 times fire weaknesses; those are gone. You've got a couple with mons like Gudra has hydration, so normally it doesn't have recover, but in the rain, rest plus hydration, the dry skin ability. It just there's a lot of stuff where you can build out a whole kind of defensive team and where you don't have to rely on the weather, but it helps you out a lot.
Right. Yeah, that's one thing I've never drafted weather. Like I've always thought about trying it, and like I've had times where like I'll draft them on that can set sand, and I'll be like, okay, I'll like late in the draft, I'll be like, okay, I'll pick up this random Pokemon that has uh Sand Rush or something like that. It's always intrigued me though, like the
Yeah,
idea the idea of weather.
well, that's the thing. Also, with rain versus other ones, while I do think rain's the best, it is the one you have to plan for the most because, um, like fire is such a good offensive typing normally, but there's a lot of fire types just don't work in rain. There's some that do, but they just don't work. So
Like
it's harder to just slap rain on a team. Whereas like sand, you
yeah,
can just slap a Hippowdon and Excadrill on any team, and it's good.
and it can work. Yeah.
You could just slap Sunsetter of Choice and Venusaur on any team, and it's good. It doesn't really affect the whole overall part of the team the same way that rain does.
Hmm. That's very I never thought of it that way. That's really true. So oh, sorry, I accidentally went up there. And then as far as, talent wise, how do you think the WPF compares to any other leagues that you've been in? Like I know that you mentioned you're in UPL, and I know that UPL and WPF share a like a very a lot of people. So like if you don't like
I
if you're
mean,
like, oh, I don't really know, but like
they're they're pretty much the same now. They're getting close. But I was in a different league that um, the competition in WPF and UPL are definitely higher. Um, like especially on the high end. Like I don't know if it would like compare to some of the leagues that like people that really follow it, some in the Discord talk about like, oh, these whatever insert acronym here league is really good and it's the best. The Showdown Paddlers. I don't know because I've never tried one of those, but I would say that a lot of the top people could probably at least hold their own in one of those leagues. So it's getting very competitive, and as because I've been in the UPL for a while, and like as that's been which has a lot of the same coaches as WPF. And as I've been in that longer, like the competition just keeps going up. And
mm-hmm.
I think that might be because the people that are good at it decide, hey, I'm gonna stay and maybe like it more. And then people that maybe didn't like it as much or weren't as good tend to fall
Right.
out after a while. So now you're left with just everyone who knows what they're doing. So
Yeah, that's true. I never thought of it that way either because that's very true. Like usually if you get people who that they try draft league. If they get against people who are like really good, they kind of feel overwhelmed. It's
I
like
think that's
it's not like you're trying to run them off, but it's like they kind of get discouraged a little bit. But it's like I
yeah, I
don't know.
think it helped out that I was starting off with like my friends. I started off,
Mm-hmm.
even though the team was bad, I started off pretty good. I was like, hey, I'm pretty decent and I'm okay at this thing. It's fun. I'll stick with it. So
And the last question I've got for you is when season 8 starts, what kind of content can we expect from you? Like, for example, like I love you and Nolan's power rankings, and I think your match content is really, really good too. So just curious what
well,
kind of content you'll be
well, thank you.
making.
Yeah, I'm hoping to get back into um, making the league match because I really enjoyed that. Power rankings, as long as Nolan wants to do it again, we could probably do something similar that to last time, like every 3 weeks or so, because every week I think would be too much. But
Yeah, every week is a bit ridiculous.
yeah, no, I just got really busy and had some like life stuff come up that I just wasn't able to record, even though I actually really enjoyed it,
Right.
and got into it because I was like, well, I think I kind of know what I'm talking about. I kind of want to spread that knowledge and show what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
So ideally, come season 8, I'll be back to doing my weekly matches and stuff. So
And this isn't a question I have prepared, but like I know that for me it's true. But do you feel like recording has made you better?
I think so. I think it's made me adapt a little better, and it's I think it's made me a little better in rematches because I have to think about, well, now they like now I know they know exactly what I
Mm-hmm.
brought and exactly what I was thinking. So it's kind of like, well, how can I possibly, change that around, use what they know to my advantage type thing.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me like, well, I gotta kind of know what I'm doing, or else people won't
Right.
watch if they're like, well, this guy's just losing all the time. He has no idea what he's doing.
Like
Or
that's
even
kind
like
of
not necessarily losing, but like, oh, this guy's just putting 252 into everything. Like, why would I watch that?
that's
If I
kind of
do,
what I feel
I
like.
mean,
It's like you
nothing
need to
nothing wrong with nothing
you
wrong
need
with
to
that.
know. Go
Sometimes
ahead.
you need to, but
Right.
yeah,
Like I feel like it's your team better because like
yeah,
if you're gonna feel confident talking about your team for 10 minutes or 20 minutes or however long you spend talking about the team you're bringing, you're gonna need to feel confident that you know it well. Like know what though. Like if you do bring a random 16 defense EVs, it's like, oh, that is for this specific hit. You need to know those things. Like you need to understand it. It's like you can't build a team and then be like, oh wait, why did I have this spread? You're trying to figure it out because like you have to know what it's for because you're going to talk about it for 20 minutes. So I don't know.
exactly.
I feel like it's given me a
Or
deeper understanding of my teams.
yeah, or even that, like trying to think through a game, and even though I like to have multiple things that could potentially win a
Mm-hmm.
game, have sometimes things that aren't planned, but there is it's helped me kind of game plan a little bit, like because I'm talking about it like, okay, this thing it does really well. This is how my team is planning on potentially setting this up.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that'll do it for me. Do you have anything to add? Anything you want to say?
Nope. Thank you for having me. This was great. It was a lot of fun.
So, um, if you guys want to check out Lucky, I don't know why you would be following me and not following him. He is better than me and makes better content than me. I will have him linked down in the description. Thanks for joining me, man. And we will catch you guys later. Have a good one.